What's up guys, Caleb here, and I spent an entire week building a 4'4" 17-story Lego Star Wars Cantina sort of stacked tower city thing. I don't even know what it is. Not really in any Star Wars movies or anything. I just decided to build like a massive Star Wars tower that would have lots of bars and gambling areas and, you know, all sorts of just random crap. So that's exactly what I built. This thing has bars, casinos, shops, police stations, even a secret hot tub. There's all sorts of just random amazing little references in here that I'm super excited to show to you guys. If you guys do enjoy, please make sure to subscribe as we're closing in on my goal of 300 subscribers by the end of the summer, which is super exciting. Oh, without further ado, let's get right on into it. Should probably start off saying that this thing was incredibly tricky to design because I had no idea kind of how to build something this tall. I never built something that was 17 stories high, but I ended up doing it and it could hold its own weight fairly well. And as my man the Saber Trooper said, it can kind of be used as a guitar. I feel that the best way to show the full-on glory and size of this MOC, we have to start all the way at the bottom floor, which is obviously where I started building the MOC. Over to the left, we kind of have the Ferris wheel elevator, which I'll show in a moment, and to the right, we have the train, which I'll show in a moment. So over here is just kind of a hallway that connects both the train and the elevator. Not a ton going on here, just an area to walk. The train is a pretty cool detail that I added, where basically it runs on a track above, and it can just slide back and forth fairly easy to deliver one minifig from one side of the station to the other. I had to experiment with different ways of getting it to slide smoothly, but I'm pretty happy with the finished result. You can also kind of park the train by pushing it in, and it kind of locks on that tile, so you have to pull it back out to slide it. To the right of the train, we have a small area for a guy to walk, which also leads to the elevator. This sort of support holds up most of the building, so it is a pretty strong piece in there, but it's just a little area for this guard to walk to the elevator. What I call a Ferris wheel elevator, where basically the platforms can rotate from one spot to the other, so you can hop on at the bottom and ride it right up to the middle, or you can ride it right up to the top. It's a pretty cool design that I'm pretty happy with, and there's actually a second one later in the model, and yeah, it's just a really cool little design for like an elevator, I feel like. Second dude is a dude waiting for the elevator at the small sort of elevator station. There's also a second stop that kind of leads right through to the first stop. The elevator kind of leads across to the bar, where we have the one-armed bartender, who I feel like just turned out epic. I don't know, I wanted to make this dude one-handed for some reason so badly, so I did it, and he's kind of mixing a drink, and I don't know, this one-handed bartender just turned out epic. But we have a police officer interrogating the bartender for a wanted person, which is a really cool detail I found just kind of sitting in my Lego bin, and I knew I need to incorporate it in here somehow, and I'm just happy how it looks with the security guy. Obviously, we have all of the drinks sitting behind the counter in the bar, and right across from the drinks, we have a suspicious looking crank. I wonder what that could be. Basically, you can crank the crank and it spins the drinks all around. You can also put it in reverse and spin the drinks the other way if you want. I just thought it'd be really cool if I somehow made it so you could pick the drinks out like while it was spinning, and I'm really happy how this little detail turned out. You can also take the Ferris wheel elevator right up to the third floor, which is where we have the first floor of the casino. We have a bit of sort of random decorative furniture on the sort of porch area of the casino. Inside we have C-3PO as well as a small vase with a kind of flower plant in it, and we also have a head in a jar. I have no idea why I want to include this, but there's so many just random aliens and like Star Wars bars and stuff that I feel like I just wanted to include something weird. I also put a pink-haired alien kind of singing above the bar, and this turned out to be a really cool little detail that I like. I also built a small fan into one of the kind of support beams that holds up the bottom half of the MOC. Across from the fan, we have another support beam with a small kind of handle built into it, which can help kind of carry the model when I'm lifting it from place to place. But the fourth floor is more of the second floor of the casino, where it has this big sort of table with all of this just like random crap that people are betting on. I don't know what I was thinking here, just a lot of random sort of alien stuff, I don't know. Behind that, we have the window and some small control panels, as well as another sort of potted vase and another little computer that you can gamble on. Across from that, we also have some more gambling stuff, where I found this really cool sort of spinner thing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a skull in it. I don't even know what it's from, but it just looked really cool, and I decided to put it in the casino. I also managed to put this really cool sort of like bubble window into it. I just found this piece and I wanted to use it as a window somewhere. I kind of attached it sideways, and it looks really cool as like a window into the casino, I think. On the fifth floor, we have the Droid shop, where I found this really cool sort of item market sticker that I put on there. But inside, we kind of have the Droid shop, which is just a really cool floor. We have a rack kind of full of ripped off droid heads that I found, as well as a small kind of droid tucked away in the corner. There's more sort of wires and droid parts spread around the shop, as well as R2-D2's body without his head. Across from all the droids, we have a small sort of counter where I guess you can buy the droids, and this honestly ended up being one of my favorite floors. Something about it just is really cool to me. Above the droid shop on the 6th floor, we have the police station, which ended up being a really cool floor as well. And to the left, attached to the police station, we have the sniper's nest, where we have a sniper who can basically shoot at oncoming people, which I honestly think is a really cool detail to kind of have her gun sticking out of there. Inside, we have a seat for the police captain, as well as a sort of hologram globe that can in fact spin around. It's basically just a hologram of the planet that I put in there, and behind that we have a balcony. Across that, we have a small prison cell with a dude who is arrested for selling some sort of Star Wars drug, and inside we have a small seat and a little cushion inside of there. And if we spin the sucker around, we can get a good look at the 7th floor. We are getting up there. But the 7th floor basically has a fire blade, which I basically made up. It's just something that can cut through a lightsaber. I just made this up. I don't know if it's real. But I made it so the transparent pig stand that it's on can actually spin around, and I also gave it some sort of white lines which kind of lead your eyes right to the crystal, which I just think, I don't know, looks kind of cool to me. Also a spot above there where the roof is, and yeah, this is honestly a pretty cool little... The 8th floor is kind of the trash dumping room, which is also just a really cool looking room. We have 2 big crates kind of stacked against the wall, which hold all of the trash and stuff that will get dumped, as well as a seat with all of the controls to sort of operate the trash dumping mechanism. We also have the 3rd and final police officer kind of standing near the trash compactor to watch it all go smoothly. Basically, we can take the 2 large crates full of trash, put them on 1 and 2, and basically by pulling this wall up, you can then pull it right out and they slide down the chute out of the building. It's really cool. It took me a while to get the design down smoothly, but it ended up working like really flawlessly. And it's also incredibly satisfying to watch all of the trash slowly dump down in slow motion. There's also a doorway way at the back of the trash thing that leads to this satellite that's kind of on a platform near a ladder, and yeah, it's just a satellite and you can move it back and forth. Not too much going on here. And hypothetically, if we wanted to, we could get rid of little Timmy pretty easily by just pulling the floor out. The 8th floor has these big support beams that basically lead up to the satellite, and we'll get to the satellite in a minute, but it's sort of attached just to the porch here, or balcony area. There's a little crate there, as well as a small droid, and if we turn the thing around, we get a look at the inside, which is just sort of a dining room with a seat and a table and some stuff on there. Overall, not a ton going on in this room, just kind of a small dining room area. And right above the dining room, on the 10th floor, we have the Jedi headquarters with the custom Jedi minifigure that I built. We have a small stand with like a little crystal that I put on there, and if we take the minifigure away, we can get a good look at a hologram of the planet, the 2nd hologram in the set, and yeah, it's a pretty cool room. There's also some controls and a crate. And the 11th floor is actually the 2nd level of the Jedi headquarters. It's basically just a small balcony that's sort of over top of the hologram, so people can watch from on top as people describe what's happening on the bottom. So you can fit multiple Jedi up here, and while there's not a ton going on here, it is cool to have this small sort of balcony over top of the rest of the Jedi headquarters. Found a really cool sort of billboard piece, which I'm pretty sure was from a Ninjago set that my brother got, and yeah, I put it on here and it looks pretty cool as part of the building. Across from that is the 2nd Ferris wheel elevator, which is a pretty similar design to the first one on the bottom floor. Now this is the same concept as the other one, where it only has 2 stations, but you can spin it around from floor to floor, and if I had 2 hands this would be a lot easier, but yeah, it's a pretty cool little elevator system to get from the Jedi headquarters to the spare room. So basically the elevator leads right to the spare room, where I have a small droid as well as a rack with some weapons, and if we remove the droid, we can get a better look at the rifle sort of on there, as well as a crate and a small sort of grill piece. There's a platform outside the spare room that leads to the satellite tower, which can in fact be moved around on the base, and yeah, the satellite tower ended up looking pretty cool. Actual satellite dish can be moved kind of up and down, and I also attached some kind of wires wrapping around it, which looks kind of cool, and overall I'm pretty happy how the little satellite tower turned out. Above the spare room we have the forge, which basically has the Forger minifig as well as a cool Mandalorian helmet that I found in my Lego bin. There's kind of a rack with a small blaster and some tools to help him kind of weld or forge stuff. And then we have the laser table, which ended up being really cool. There's basically a little black gear outside of here, and by twisting the gear you can actually operate the laser thing, so you can kind of go up and down, and just ended up being a really cool fun detail that I'm glad I included. You can even see the laser table in action outside of the building, which is also just dope. And above the forge we have the 14th floor with a ladder that leads right to the reactor of the entire building. We have some small controls for the reactor and a it basically powers the entire tower, and it ended up looking really sick. You can even see like the dark shiny red pieces underneath of the reactor, which makes it look like it's actually kind of powered up, and it's honestly one of my favorite rooms in the thing. There's just something about that looks really cool. The final 3 floors of the building are all kind of controlled by stormtroopers and Imperial workers. We have a small kind of fan on the 15th floor, which looks pretty cool, but it is right across from the stormtrooper only bar with a small counter which the stormtrooper bartender would serve drinks behind, as well as a little table and a seat where we have a stormtrooper who's just kind of chilling at the bar. I also managed to get this really cool sort of angled window on the 15th floor, and it's a really cool window into there. I just really like how it's kind of sideways. Between the 15th and the 16th floor, I built a tiny little spaceship which is on this clear rod, and you can kind of bend it up and down, and you can even actually bend it kind of from side to side, so you can in fact have it flying upside down if you want to. Right across from the tiny ship, we have the 16th floor, which is the Stormtrooper hot tub, which is an amazing floor, obviously a reference to the Skywalker game where you could basically find a Stormtrooper hot tub, which is just amazing. That's just such a fun floor to have a Stormtrooper literally just chilling in a hot tub with a mug of coffee. It just ended up being just really funny and hilarious. And the 17th and final floor is basically like the Imperial General's meeting room where he is meeting with the Mandalorian. We have an all-black table with a little coffee mug, as well as obviously the General and a sort of Stormtrooper guard who's protecting him. Overall, there's not a ton going on this floor, but it ended up being a pretty cool little room, I think. I put this cool sort of really big like sandy dish piece that I found on top of there, and it ends up rounding off the roof fairly well. And the very top of the tower has this bit that kind of sticks out, which ends up giving a few more inches to the tower, and it looks pretty good on top of there. And once I finished filming this, I decided I wanted to measure just to see how tall this thing really is. And so I took a tape measure and went up and up and up and up and up until I got to about 52.5 inches for the entire tower. I did some more digging and figured out that this was 133.5 centimeters, which actually makes it taller than the tallest Lego set ever, the Eiffel Tower. That means that this tower is 25 centimeters taller than the tallest Lego set ever, which just blows my mind. I never expected this thing to be taller than the tallest Lego set ever, but it is, and I'm happy about it. Thank you guys for watching this video. It took me a very long time to build it and film it, so make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to help me hit 300 subscribers by the end of the summer, which we're actually getting incredibly close to, so if you'd subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. I will see you guys later. Stay safe and peace out.